Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Michael Butch. I am the Assistant Special Agent in charge here at the FBI's Connecticut office. I am joined today by the Connecticut State Police, including Colonel Malikas. I am joined by Naugatuck Police Chief McAllister and Assistant United States Attorney John Pierpont. As you are aware, Christopher is being sought in connection with the death of his 11-month-old daughter, baby Camilla, on November 18th at his home in Naugatuck. We stand here today united, federal, state, and local authorities to do everything we can to seek justice for Camilla. We can't thank our community and the media enough for joining together with us to help find justice and to help find Christopher. Camilla was one of our own, a happy, beautiful little girl whose life was taken needlessly. We are collectively deploying every resource at our disposal to find Christopher, including casting a wide net in multiple states. We will not stop until we find Christopher. As part of this joint effort, we are here this morning to ask for your help in locating Christopher. He may be contacting family, friends, or acquaintance seeking assistance, and he may travel to places with which he is familiar. If he has contacted you, please call 911 or call us at the FBI 1-800-CALL-FBI as soon as possible. He may exhibit increasingly erratic, unpredictable behaviors, and we want to ensure everyone's safety. He may have also attempted to change his appearance, such as shaving his beard, cutting his hair, or hiding the very distinctive tattoos on his neck and on his hands, as shown in the posters. To other community members and the general public, if you encounter Christopher, please do not approach him. Ensure you are safe, and then call 911 or the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. As you have seen, we have increased the reward from $10,000 to $25,000. I would like to personally appeal to Christopher. Christopher, if you are listening, the search will not stop until we find you and that we bring you in. However, you have the power to change this. You have the power to contact us and to speak with us and to turn yourself in. You can help us understand why this happened. It is your choice to make. You can call us again at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Finally, our condolences and prayers go to the family of baby Camilla. This tragedy has shaken our whole community. Now, I'd like to bring Chief McAllister to the podium to share some additional details about Christopher and the ongoing investigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Agent Butch. Good morning. I'd like to just follow up with, again, addressing some of the particulars which have been released on our social media platforms as well as previously issued news releases. Christopher Francis Queenie, age 31, is wanted on the charge of murder with special circumstances as well as risk of injury to a minor. In addition to that, we have released photos of his unique tattoos, and there is a court-set $5 million bond, and the FBI reward has been increased to $25,000. In addition to Francis Queenie's current status as being wanted for these charges, he does have an extensive criminal history, and he's well known to law enforcement in the state of Connecticut. Most recently, he is out on special parole, as well as $375,000 in bond for additional charges that occurred in the past year or two. One of those charges includes assault on a police officer. Speaking to his status on parole as well as his status on bond, I understand the community is angry that this offender, who has shown a predisposition to violence, is out and continuing to commit crimes. There is going to be a time and place to have that discussion with policymakers about how we can look at this, but right now we remain focused on our objective, which is the apprehension of Christopher Francis Queeny and bringing him to justice as soon as possible. I would like to just walk you through, again, a brief timeline of the events that have led us to standing before you this morning. Beginning on November 18th, Friday, just after 11:30 in the morning, Naugatuck police and first responders went to number 150 Millville Ave in Naugatuck, Connecticut, to investigate a complaint of a possible homicide. Upon first responders' arrival, they determined that the victim, identified as Camilla Francis Queeny, age 11 months, had been deceased. After that, an appeal was made to the public as well as the media in order to attempt to locate Francis Queeny. As a result of public information that was put forward, as well as media requests, that same evening on November 18th, we learned that Francis Queeny's vehicle that he was operating, a Chevrolet Impala, had been discovered on I-91 in the area of exit 8 in New Haven. Additionally, a witness reported seeing Francis Queeny fleeing into a wooded area off the highway. That Friday night, we initiated a large-scale search in the area on I-91 for Francis Queeny. This included federal, state, local resources and a significant deployment of police resources. As a result of that initial search, Francis Queeny was not located. However, photos were developed of Francis Queeny and they were released to the media. We confirmed some of his movements, as well as releasing the photo of him on Quinnipiac Avenue here in the city of New Haven on about 4 p.m. that day on November 18th. Additionally, investigators have determined that he did have movements throughout the city of New Haven throughout that evening, including the downtown area as well as the New Haven Green. By Saturday morning in the early hours, Naugatuck Police, with the assistance of the Connecticut State Police Major Crime Division, completed processing of the crime scene at Millville Avenue. After that was completed, the investigators from the State Police Major Crime Squad then processed the vehicle, which had previously been located and seized on 91. Forensic evidence was obtained from both of these investigations and later submitted to the State Forensic Laboratory for further analysis. While all that was occurring, police resources continued to be deployed throughout the New Haven area, as well as Waterbury, attempting to track down known associates of Francis Queeny and attempting to locate him and determine his last movements. Additionally, by Sunday, based upon the preliminary investigation, Naugatuck detectives were able to prepare and submit an arrest warrant application for the charges of murder and risk of injury for Francis Queeny, which was subsequently granted by Sunday evening. By that point, Francis Queeny was then broadcast as being wanted on these state charges. We held a press conference to update the media and the community on Monday morning on November 21st. The details and descriptions of this case were brought forward to the media and the public in hopes of developing information that will allow us to apprehend Francis Queeny. Throughout the past week, including through the Thanksgiving holiday, detectives as well as our federal and state partners have been working around the clock to track down leads and determine Francis Queeny's whereabouts and his movements. This has been occurring as a result of tips and information that we have received from the public. I am appealing to the community and the public, as well as the media, to continue to forward those tips and that information to us, as it is helping us to try to build a timeline and ultimately locate and apprehend Francis Queeny. Lastly, I would like to extend our sincere condolences to the Francis Queeny family, as well as our community in Naugatuck is grieving with their family about the loss of Camilla. She was taken from us far too soon. This kind of a loss, it tears a hole in our community and leaves us all searching for questions and answers about how something as terrible as this could happen. It's not lost on me as I stand here before all of you today that baby Camilla would be celebrating her first birthday on December 3rd. Until this apprehension is done, our Naugatuck investigators, as well as our law enforcement officers, will be wearing pink in our effort to find justice for Camilla. It is a stand of commitment with our victim, who no longer has a voice. We will be there for her to pursue her. Information on how you can contact law enforcement, as well as the tips line, is being updated as we speak and will be forwarded to you as the media and be broadcast in our social media platforms as well. In addition to that, we will continue to keep the public updated, and I encourage the community and the media to follow our social media platforms for the most current, up-to-date information on this case. Thank you.
Okay. Now we have some time to take questions, if you have any. Yes?
Hi, I'm with Fox 51 from Griffin. I have a question for Chief McAllister. If you wouldn't mind maybe speaking on if you're receiving a lot of tips for this case, or if it's been a little quiet. Can you walk us through how many you received, or if the public's been helpful?
The public has been very helpful. We continue to receive numerous tips regarding this case. The assistance of the FBI as well as the state police is helping us verify and follow up on these tips. But it does take a considerable amount of legwork, as these have come across from the state as well as the nation. So our investigators have spent the last week trying to verify and determine the validity of these various tips and whether or not they'll provide a helpful lead. We can't rule out any possibility at this point. Again, that's why I stand here with our federal partners. They're a national organization, and ultimately we'll continue to search the leads wherever they take us, be it within the jurisdictional boundaries or outside of them. We continue to work closely with other state agencies as well as various federal field offices in those respective jurisdictions. That's something, again, we're looking into at this point. A crime as violent and heinous as this is something we're all searching for answers on a motive. I can't comment specifically on that, but...
Can you talk a little bit about how, obviously, I think we've all heard a lot about this in the past couple of weeks, just how it's almost unfathomable how bad this crime was, and it was even special circumstances. That's a big deal. But talk a little bit about how is it frustrating to not have him in custody at this point? I mean, this is kind of a large man with a lot of distinct features. Why is it that maybe we can't seem to locate where he is?
Well, I want to be very clear that we're holding this press conference to make sure that anybody who may not be fully aware of the circumstances of this case is aware of it. We're trying to reach out to various parts of our community that might not always tune into the news, trying to get this out on social media platforms, and that's definitely something that may be a barrier to us getting this message out. But as far as our frustrations, our investigators, officers really don't have time for that. They're solely focused on their objective, which is apprehending this violent suspect.
Chief McAllister, are you able to give more of a precise location to where he had movement after the kind of gas cabinet
I can say it was downtown New Haven in the area of the Green. That's as far as I can say for confirmed movements.
In the area of the Green.
Correct.
Can you talk a little bit about that billboard campaign that's now been launched, or maybe if the FBI wants to hit on that as well? I know that's a pretty big issue.
I'm going to defer to Agent Butch on that.
Can you repeat the question once
Can
more?
you talk a little bit about the billboard campaign that's now been in, it looks like it's in 3 different states. This is a pretty big deal for you guys.
It is. I mean, I think it demonstrates our commitment and the importance we place on finding Christopher. So, yeah, we're kind of pulling out all the stops to locate him as soon as we can.
Do you think you may spread that to other states? Are there any plans for that?
We may. We'll see how things progress.
Michael Dean from WTIC Radio. What's the federal role in all this? Are there potential federal charges involved?
potentially, our focus now is in assisting the state and Naugatuck, but potentially, if he fled Connecticut to another state, crossed boundaries, potentially. But the focus is the state charges right now.
Andres. Does he have any social media that you can track him potentially?
We'd rather not comment on that.
When was he last seen? His last confirmed sighting? Can we get any information on that?
The information that we can release to you and the media and the public would be Friday evening. Those still photos. We do have some other leads after that, but our definitive timeline, those photos have been released.
Has the family been cooperative with the investigation, the search, and do you think
I mean, the family's grieving. They've suffered a terrible loss. We continue to remain in contact with them on a near daily basis. So, yes, I mean, I describe them as entirely cooperative with this investigation.
How's the mom doing?
So, I mean, it's just an unconscionable loss. So, I mean, the family is grieving with that. They're in that grieving process. So.
And was he living with I know the family owned the home. Was he living with his parents? What's the situation there?
This was a household with multiple household members, multiple family members in it. So that was part of the dynamic. I just want to clarify that was Friday the 18th at 4 p.m. if there was any mistype or miskey on that. But it was Friday evening the 18th were the last footage that we released. So. I don't think you can measure it in terms of close or anything else. There's a tremendous amount of information we're sifting through and organizing, and keeping the media and the community update is just a part of the process of this investigation. Andres?
Is there any discussion of granting immunity to a person who may be housing the suspect?
I don't want to comment on any judicial proceedings or anything like that, but if anybody is housing Francis Queenie or anybody is harboring him, I've said this in my first press conference, which is you may not be safe considering the suspect's history, but there is that potential for charges should somebody be harboring him. We can't say that we can rule that out. So you are putting yourself in legal jeopardy as well as your physical safety in jeopardy by being in proximity to him.
what day did you say the officers may be wearing pink?
We are currently wearing pink on our bands, and we're going to continue to show solidarity until we can apprehend Christopher for baby Camilla.
Do those bands say anything?
They say justice for Camilla, and they have her birth date as in the date of her murder.
And Chief, how are officers doing in New York responding to this tragic scene?
I mean, I think I speak for our law enforcement partners here. This is probably one of the most heinous cases in our collective experiences that we've investigated, as well as the officers, and I see members of our community, such as our first responders here in the audience. It's a difficult case. They're navigating that, and they're working their way through it. There's no way to probably quantify or describe that.
Chief, can you spell your full name?
Sure, it's Chief Colin McAllister, COLIN MCALLISTER.
Do we still think he's wearing that same outfit?
We can't rule that out, but again, speaking generally in our law enforcement experience, suspects are known to attempt to change their appearance, alter their physical appearance, growing facial hair, removing it, cutting their hair, dyeing their hair, changing any clothing or attire or outfits. These are all known methods of deception to try to throw off law enforcement as well as the public. So appealing to the media and the community, I would say do not rule anything out. We want you to continue to take everything into consideration. If you see somebody who resembles this suspect, do not hesitate, call us. We want to be have the opportunity to run down every lead that we can. I'm going to defer to Agent Butch on that.
We have billboards up along 91, 95, and 84. Okay. Well,
Could you spell your first and last name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Michael, Michael, Butch, Butsch.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for your assistance today.
Thank you.